Imagine staring through a cockpit window and seeing nothing but a wall of violent rain. You were battling severe turbulence with 161 passengers behind you, and the digital readouts are flashing a terrifying reality. The engines will flame out in exactly 5 minutes. The star of Flight 944 arrived at this moment without a single mechanical failure or engine malfunction. The crisis began 3 hours earlier on a dispatcher's clipboard, bearing in a series of mathematical choices. Fuel accounts for 30% of an airline's operating expenses, but aviation physics creates an economic trap. Extra fuel adds weight, forcing engines to burn more fuel just to stay airborne, directly reducing the profit margin. Because weight equals money, every kilogram is scrutinized. Before a single passenger boards, the corporate ledger has already been optimized to shave off any weight that isn't strictly required by regulation. For Flight 944, that optimization happened in Mumbai during the monsoon season. Torrential rain was already hammering the runway, a condition that usually demands a significant fuel buffer for potential delays. Safety regulations require that on bad weather days, flights must designate 2 backup alternate airports in case the primary destination is closed. The dispatchers chose 2 backups for Delhi, Ahmedabad, hundreds of kilometers away, and Lucknow, a closer option. To legally list Ahmedabad, the aircraft had to carry an extra 3,800 kilograms of fuel. Loading extra weight is expensive. Dispatchers gambled the Delhi weather would clear. To avoid costs, they used an accounting loophole, taking a 1,000-kilogram company buffer and reclassifying it as legal alternate fuel. They double-counted physical fuel. This paperwork trick effectively erased 1,900 kilograms of physical fuel from the aircraft's tanks. The ledger was balanced, but it sent the flight into a monsoon with zero physical margin for error. When the plane arrived over Delhi, the optimistic forecast proved wrong. Instead of clearing, the airport was swallowed by a severe, intensifying thunderstorm. With visibility dropping and wind gusts destabilizing the approach, Air Traffic Control ordered Flight 944 to join a holding pattern and wait for a gap in the clouds. The fuel math began to fail immediately. Every single orbit in that holding pattern burned exactly 55 kilograms of fuel. Inside the cockpit, the 1,900 kilograms they saved in Mumbai transformed into a lethal deficit. There was no way to recover the fuel they had decided not to carry. After 30 minutes of circling, the fuel gauges dropped so low that their official alternate airport of Ahmedabad was now physically out of reach. By sticking to the optimized corporate ledger, the crew had lost their primary safety net. They were trapped in a holding pattern as their remaining reserves burned away. Forced to divert, the crew turned toward Lucknow, only to find that the storm system had moved to block that runway as well. Recognizing the danger, Air Traffic Control offered a lifeline. The airport at Jaipur was closer, perfectly clear, and ready for an immediate landing. Despite their critically low fuel, the crew refused the clear runway at Jaipur. They chose to fly deeper into the weather toward Lucknow. Airline logistics distinguish backup runways through 2 specific designations: suitable and acceptable airports. An acceptable airport like Jaipur can physically handle the aircraft, but Vistara has no ground crew, mechanics, or passenger facilities there. A suitable airport like Lucknow is a company hub where the airline maintains full logistical control and support staff. Corporate training focuses on minimizing the extreme costs and logistical chaos of landing at an unsupported airport. Over time, these acceptable runways begin to look like mere paperwork contingencies rather than actual places to land an airplane. Prioritizing operational consistency over the nearest available pavement, the pilots chose a known thunderstorm over an unfamiliar but clear runway. At Lucknow, the visibility was so poor the crew couldn't see the runway. They were forced to abort their approach, a maneuver that consumed another 250 kilograms of fuel. Now desperate, they declared a Mayday emergency with only 1,100 kilograms remaining and attempted a final blind diversion to the city of Prayagraj. The math at this moment was catastrophic. Prayagraj was 17 minutes away, but the engines were set to run dry in exactly 12 minutes. For 5 minutes, the 65-ton airliner would have to glide without power through a pitch-black thunderstorm, searching for a runway the crew had never seen. Minutes before the engines failed, Lucknow ATC reported that the weather had cleared just enough to meet the legal landing minimums. The crew banked sharply back toward the airport. Battling severe crosswinds, they fought the controls through the rain and slammed the wheels onto the runway. The plane landed with only 260 kilograms of fuel left, the equivalent of 5 minutes of flight time, standing between 161 people and total disaster. Investigators eventually cleared the pilots of any wrongdoing, concluding that the crew had followed every corporate procedure exactly as written. The 1,900-kilogram fuel deficit was the logical outcome of a corporate system designed to extract maximum value from every liter of fuel. When safety margins are defined by legal loopholes and financial ledgers, a single incorrect weather forecast is enough to turn routine compliance into a catastrophe.